Just kidding, Apple is most definitely not working with Meta on AI. Welcome back to the AI Daily Brief Headline Edition, all the AI headline news you need in around 5 minutes. We kick off today with a couple of updates from recent stories. A really interesting recent piece of news had Apple talking with Meta around how Meta's AI models might be incorporated into Apple Intelligence. This was interesting to a lot of people given how contentious the Apple and Meta relationship has been in the past. My argument, which by the way is still my argument, is that ultimately Apple doesn't want to be a kingmaker when it comes to AI models. They want to be the consumer gateway to AI models, in the same way that they're the consumer gateway to all other mobile-based experiences. And so even though they launch with ChatGPT, I believe that over the next 6, 12, or 18 months, basically every foundation model that is credible and big will probably be optional as part of the iPhone ecosystem. However, with all that said, it turns out that the Apple Meta deal may have been overstated. Writes Apple whisperer Mark Gurman on Bloomberg, Apple rejected overtures by Meta Platforms to integrate the social networking company's AI chatbot into the iPhone months ago. The two companies aren't in discussions about using Meta's Llama chatbot and only held brief talks in March. The dialogue about a partnership didn't reach any formal stage, and Apple has no active plans to integrate Llama. Basically, it seems to me like there was enough respect for the possibility that there was some due diligence done, but ultimately there was never really serious consideration. For example, according to Gurman's sources, a big reason that Apple decided not to move forward was the problems that they have with Meta's privacy policies, which of course have been at the core of their testy relationship for a long time. Additionally, Gurman's sources did say that when it comes to ChatGPT, they just simply see it as a better offering, and that when it comes to Google, even if ChatGPT is better than Gemini, Google is already such a deeply integrated partner for Apple that any sort of integration could build off of that. Gurman's sources also did confirm that Apple does appear to continue to be talking to Anthropic, but is not exactly sure if or when that would happen. So that is the update. Apple Intelligence will not be powered, at least for now, by Meta. Speaking of Meta and Apple, the other story we discussed is how these big tech companies are increasingly looking like they may avoid Europe altogether. Apple made news when they announced that they may not launch Apple Intelligence in Europe because of concerns around recent regulatory updates. And in general, there's a sense that Europe's approach to regulation may be costing it the ability to actually be a leader in AI itself. For those Europeans out there who don't want to concede that point, good news today, as Meta announces a European AI startup accelerator. The announcement page reads, Meta is launching a European startup acceleration program based at Station F in partnership with Hugging Face and Scaleway with the support of the HEC Paris incubator. Basically, this is a 4-month program based in Paris. It'll start in early October and go through February 2025. And in terms of criteria, Meta wants to see there be an existing product that has actually been tested with customers or clients. They want that product to be based on an open source model, and they want startups to have identified an AI technical challenge to, quote, fully benefit from the mentoring program. They also note that these companies must be based in the EU and able to physically attend bi-monthly in-person mentoring sessions. So, like I said, if you are excited about the European AI startup scene and want to see more resources for it, this has got to be good news. Next, we move over to some launch and funding announcements, starting with Etched, who write that they are making the biggest bet in AI. Etched writes, in 2022, we made a bet that transformers would take over the world. We've spent the past 2 years building Sohu, the world's first specialized chip, or ASIC, for transformers, which they point out is the T in ChatGPT. By burning the transformer architecture into our chip, we can't run most traditional AI models. The DLRMs powering Instagram ads, protein folding models like AlphaFold 2, or older image models like Stable Diffusion 2. But for transformers, they write, Sohu is the fastest chip of all time, and it's not even close. With over 500,000 tokens per second in Llama 70B throughput, Sohu lets you build products impossible on GPUs. They continue Sohu is an order of magnitude faster and cheaper than even NVIDIA's next generation Blackwell. Today, they say every state-of-the-art AI model is a transformer: ChatGPT, Sora, Gemini, Stable Diffusion 3, and more. If transformers, they write, are replaced by SSMs, RWKV, or any new architecture, our chips will be useless. But if you're right, Sohu will change the world. Super interesting bet. I love the specificity and clarity of the vision, and I would highly recommend you check out the announcement article because it serves kind of as an argument for the company. I would love to see more startups do this, and so check it out, etched.com, and it's big and emblazoned all over their website. Speaking of ambitious, fellow Learn Capital portfolio company Emergence has just come out of stealth with $97 million in funding. Emergence is right in the thick of the agent trend. Said CEO Satya Nitya, current generative AI models, while powerful in language understanding, still lag in advanced planning and reasoning capabilities necessary for more complex automation tasks, which are the provenance of agents. So what is available from Emergence? Well, earlier this week, they open sourced something they call their orchestrator. TechCrunch writes, the orchestrator doesn't perform any tasks itself, rather it functions as a kind of automatic model switcher for workflow automations. Factoring in things like the capabilities of and the cost to use a model if it's a third party, the orchestrator considers the tasks to be performed, for example, writing an email, then chooses a model from a developer-curated list to complete that task. Right now, if you look around, you'll see both cynicism and excitement in equal measure when it comes to AI agents. On the one hand, they've been a hot topic for more than a year now, without necessarily really achieving what people want them to, but at the same time, basically everyone is betting that the AI future is agentic. And so I, for one, am excited to see big bets in this space. For now, though, that is going to do it for today's AI Daily Brief Headlines edition. Up next, the main episode.